The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, David White.
And welcome all. It doesn't matter whether you're in Seoul or maybe even on the South Pole, as long as you're here at this time. And of course, sometimes you just think that you forget about something and you know that it's on the tip of your tongue and you still forget it.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So what do we have going on today? Well, certainly there's a lot. As we left you on Thursday afternoon, I was saying the options had really started pointing to a very narrowing trading range where we probably weren't looking for anything above Thursday too much. And it was either going to be flat or lower, probably through most of this week. Maybe later this week we'll get a little bit of a bounce. It's just the standard stuff. Now, today, a lot of people are probably going to try to read in a lot of things that you shouldn't read into a market. And that is because when bonds are closed, it is historically the lightest volatility days in the market over time. We do have expiration this week, as we kind of alluded to early. As I said, it's if you're talking about something at 4,400 to 4,410 to 30 or 43, let's call it 4,360, something like that is what option market makers think this week will have. Now, if they start changing it, then I'll change my view too. But they tend to be the best traders in all the market. They know where the bodies are buried, and everybody knows in the bond or in the option market where the bodies are buried, who's buying what and where. You can't be a big option mover and shaker and buy 2,000 options on something without somebody noticing. But that's kind of it. Bonds don't make a great deal out of today. It's a lot more tomorrow. Of course, the TLT still trades, but doesn't trade much today because there is no real changes in the bonds. As I said, expiration week, most of these are bullish. This one is just absolutely slightly bullish after the bounce we got last week off the lows, but there's not a lot of gusto, to bring up the word only that I've ever used or heard used in a beer commercial. Not a lot of other gusto talk around. I had a bunch of emails, which you can email me at path@tfnn, about the strike from the airlines. We talked not a great deal, but enough about the biggest problem that I thought Boeing and some of these airlines had, and that was the pilot shortage. Boeing's up $1.61 today, so not much happening in that. Some of the other airlines I'll take a look at later in the show. But, if you want to force somebody to do something, they better not have a talent, and they better not be within a year of retirement anyway. And they better not have a pretty good union. And, of course, headlines today are a great deal about the airlines. Let me bring this up here. Why does it... there we go. I think the contacts need to be cleaned. Southwest, and in fact, let's take a quick look at this. but I will give some legal context. Why does this thing have to do this? And there we go. Okay, so I've got that. Okay. So it's up off of buck 57, that southwest. In fact, let's pull a chart up here. While I'm trying to get organized, thought I had everything organized, a little disorganized, but we shall move on. Love, of course, they're pilots, and I don't know what these airlines are thinking they can push anybody around, which there's a massive shortage of pilots when the one thing they need is pilots. But certainly we see the gap down in Southwest. Most of the other airlines are along the same way. We see Seattle possibly losing, and Portland maybe losing half their police force overnight by forcing vaccines. Kind of an interesting backdrop. Only about 6 years ago, there was a major court fight about getting and forcing flu shots on airline pilots and others. And the Obama administration went to bat and said you couldn't do it. 5-6 years later, again, they say you can. They also say that there are no exemptions for religion, which the Supreme Court has ruled 17 straight times against OSHA since 1970. There is. So I think this will blow over fairly quickly. It's become more of a political issue than actually a health issue. And we'll see what happens. But my guess is that eventually in the next week or so, maybe 2 weeks, we're going to see all the people that are mandating this and mandating that roll over fairly quickly because there's only something like a big trash strike or airline strike or something else to bring an entire nation to its knees. But again, whether you're talking about the dock workers in Long Beach kind of laying back a bit, maybe trying to get a little better contract, you never know, or the Southwest pilots kind of I'm feeling a little under the weather, right? Having a pullback. These political things are now starting to come into the stock market. Generally, they're fairly separated. As long as you're making money, everybody's happy. You start having some big strikes, start having some resort areas like Florida not being able to get passengers down here. Pretty soon you start seeing an entire country have problems economically. Like I said, generally people are smart enough in politics to know when they're at a losing game, but both politically and probably legally, this will probably resolve itself fairly quickly. We'll be back after this.
Are you grinding in the market, but seeing little to no return? Or are you a successful trader, simply looking to make your job a little easier? Learn to take the path of least resistance with David White's powerful trading newsletter. David White is an accomplished trader whose deep understanding of technology and the markets allows him to consistently find and share winning trades. Support and resistance define the ranges in which stocks trade. By understanding these trading ranges, David White is able to find the path of least resistance. David White's trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, is delivered daily before the markets open to make every trading day an easy win. Visit TFNN.com today and subscribe to David White's Ultimate Trading Newsletter for $119 a month. And try all of our newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Take the path of least resistance at TFNN, educating investors.
What's separating you from the most successful men and women on Wall Street? That's right, information. Having all the information gives us the perspective we need to place the right trades at the right time. The TAS Profile Scanner is the premier market profile-based scanner. Powered by its acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner instantly filters over 2,500 plus global financial markets, such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. This powerful suite of tools leverages instant trade filtering and strategy formulation to show you emerging trades before they happen. For a limited time, you can save $100 off your first month by using the promo code UPGRADE, and you still get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Level the playing field with the TAS Profile Scanner, which you can find under the Services tab at TFNN.com. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
So as we were talking, had a couple of emails here. Yeah, you just, you had everybody last year get forced out as pilots. A lot of them were within a year or two of retirement anyway. You've got a ton of pilots that are going to, if you come back after you've been off for a while, you're going to have to spend almost 6 months getting ready to fly again. I know a 777 pilot that's getting ready to change equipment. And it took him, or he's almost done. I think he takes another couple of check rides and simulator rides here in the next couple of weeks. But they all tell me the same thing, and that is that they know that they've got the airlines by the short hairs, and they're not going to take any kind of edicts very easily. But we'll see how this goes ahead in the near future. But that goes for everybody. All these people that are mandating all kinds of stuff. There were about 1,000 lawsuits filed last week against that. And like I said, you can feel one way, but when it gets down to it, it's all about what is legal, what they can force people to do. And guess what? There's always a religious exemption. And in the past, unless they start deciding that this is somehow different, which I doubt they will, you can't even ask how deep is the belief, or that it's actually a religion. In some cases, atheists have said that they can't abide by something, and it's their religion is actually atheism, and that's passed muster by the Supreme Court. So, like I said, I think whether it's the military or the airlines or Tyson Foods, which got served, I think, this morning with a rather large lawsuit on this issue, these guys are going to have to find out that there's what you can do and what is legal. And what is legal almost always will end up being what you end up doing. And so I'm not going to say that this disruption is probably going to last that long. It's not a court case that needs to take 6 months. This stuff will all be handled fairly quickly, and we'll be back to the big problems, which are supply chains disruptions and getting all that stuff unloaded off the California coast before Christmas comes, and Christmas is ruined. And we're getting to that point right now. Always a lawyer to be found. Always. Well, generally for this case, because I know a couple of lawyers involved in it, it's an easy win. So take the money. The employers that do this, that don't have a religious exemption, or that try to dig too far into your religion, are going to lose. They have in the last cases. So, like I said, I think this is going to all blow over sooner than not. And of course, today, as we said, probably not a big a day. A lot of people are going to look at the market close today and think it means a lot more than it did Friday. The answer, I always say, is no. It's almost always a lot more about just narrow trading ranges. And of course, on Friday, option markets will expire. Last month when we did it in September, it was a lot tougher, mostly because that was quad witching, which is actually triple witching, but who wants to get into the semantics of that? Anyway, this one's not, and generally you have a much better prediction from the options than we have during quad witching. There's just too many things going on. Now, of course, another great thing about looking at options this week is you're really looking at not so much of options and their prices into next month. You don't have weeklies to muck up and muddy the water. A lot clearer when you just know that there's of the options that are going to be available, 70% of them are going to be monthlies, and those expire this Friday. You can mandate vaccines. You just have to give religious exemptions. Somebody in the den. And if you don't give them that, or you start digging into the religion, or start bringing in, the Supreme Court has not been too nice about that. So if you're, I guess, on two fronts on this, and that is whether or not these strikes last long over mandates, probably not. The other thing would be whether you're in the military or an airline pilot, the same religious exemptions do exist. So, like I said, I think a lot of this stuff, once it hits the court, a lot of these guys in the CEO positions think that they could do a lot. They then go to the lawyers who tell them, you should have come and seen me first, because guess what? They tried this 17 times, and 17 times it's been shot down since 1970. So it's not something new. So, no, I don't think they're for the most part of it. Now, if you have religious exemptions, most courts have said that is fine. But like I said, you don't even have to have an actual religion. You can be an atheist, and the Supreme Court has said that that's okay. So as long as you have a deep-held belief for some reason, and your reason doesn't even have to make sense. So there's always that catch-22 in mandating anything, at least health-wise. And I guess it does kind of run into what you might see for these companies like Pfizer and MNRA and others, and Merck, in that most people are probably going to want to use them, but it's not going to be one of these things where you're going to be forced to. So, if you were thinking you were going to get 100% of the market with Pfizer or Merck or some of these other ones, I'd plan on maybe 75% is probably a high water market for getting your vaccine into customers. Everybody's again. Anyway, give me a call, 877-927-6648. Question about URA from Todd. And the Toddster asked me what? What do you think the uranium chart is? Thinking uranium as longer-term investment. Very interesting articles out of China over the weekend about manufacturing. And they've got apparently a huge problem with generating enough electricity. They've got rotating schedules, not for COVID, but when you can actually produce stuff because of the problem getting enough electricity for everybody. Some companies are only open during the weekends. Some are only open during nights now in China, especially around some of the bigger cities, industrial cities. So they can't get power soon enough, but they are short right now. We'll be back in a minute.
Are you having fun trading the markets, but having trouble finding like-minded individuals to discuss your trading and investment ideas with? Become an apex predator in the trading markets and join the Tiger's Den Trading Room only at TFNN.com. The Tiger's Den is an exclusive trading room where successful traders from around the world come to exchange trades and ideas. Join the den and surround yourself with the sharpest minds in the trading world. Subscribers to the Tiger's Den are also the first to have their questions answered live on air and can privately chat with our TFNN hosts live during their shows. Interact with other tigers and tigresses as they share trading ideas, news analysis, and discuss the market action all trading day. Subscribe to the Tiger's Den risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee and become part of the TFNN trading community. TFNN, educating investors.
You could be making money off the stock market. And if you're already making money off the stock market, you could be making a lot more. Check out TFNN and Tiger TV and get expert investing advice to give you the power to control your financial future. Go to TFNN.com and find the newsletter for you. Whether you're into trading gold, metals, futures, currencies, or options, you'll get advice and analysis to help you seriously get ahead. TFNN also features trading services with a 30-day money-back guarantee for new subscribers, as well as TFNN's Tiger Den Trading Room, trading software, and educational webinars for all trading levels. And make sure you check out Tiger TV for free on TFNN.com or TFNN's YouTube channel for live financial content from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern on market days. Stop watching on the sidelines while other people get rich and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
As we return, more questions from the email. Again, you can give me a call, 877-927-6648. Where did I see all the, actually a lot of the semi podcasts, which I listen to, and some of the bigger influencers on YouTube have been talking about the shortages all week. Some of those folks actually have OEM agreements over there in China. And one of the biggest guys on the circuit of tech influencers. It's mostly from building PCs and that kind of stuff. Order stuff over there, and he's saying, hey, I'm not getting any of the stuff that I ordered either. And they tell me the same thing, and that is that they're allowed to produce between like 10 p.m. and 4 p.m. in the morning. And other than that, everything else has got to be shut off electrically. So I think whenever this thing goes, I think it's uranium is probably a good thing because they're basically going after that. But they got two big problems. One, they don't want to be dependent on Australia for coal in case it gets into a shooting war. And two, they are trying to get these cities that literally people are falling over dead from breathing the air a little bit better. They know it's a problem, and in a kind of a strange way where they want to make you think something, they do want to, even in communist countries, clean up the air a bit, which is pretty amazing. Maybe because they have to live in these cities too. But I think it's a long-term good thing. With uranium, though, like I said, there's a lot of upfront for starting these. A lot of times you'll fuel them up and you don't have to put new fuel in them for a while. Or you move the rods around where they are in the reactor when some kind of get a little bit more used than others, and you balance them out. But, you start a new reactor, you fill them full, you may be able to go a year, 2 years, depending on the reactor design before you really need to order more. So there's going to probably be a lot of fits and starts and probably be a very good trader in the uranium long term. But I don't see anything changing. But Kamiko, same chart out here, which is it's just consolidating these big gains at 22. And, the more they order, the more you're going to need uranium for all these, what's going to be hundreds of reactors in China. So I don't see any of that changing, or the need for huge amounts of electricity and clean electricity. And the fact that they're already up against the wall with mandates for, in their country, for cleaner air. So they're just rotating it around the clock, but continues on. Other things going on. Questions about Microsoft from Ronald. Said it's up on light volume today. Again, a lot of these, when I was talking about earlier, that the PC issue, whether it's laptops or anything else, there is severe part shortages, not just delivering those parts to Long Beach from China, but it generally, if you don't get a supply issue handled fairly quickly, it tends to spread in the economies, and it continues to spread on this. Microsoft could make a lot more money on selling Windows 11 PCs. They make, I think, $45 is the licensing fee on any computer over $500. So you'll see a lot of them right under, like at $499 and stuff. Suggested retail. Below that, I think they have a graduated scale. I think it may be like $30 if the computer sells for less than $500. Microsoft changes it. Occasionally, those price things leak. But if you go out and buy a copy, it's $130 or something like that for Windows 10 or 11 to get a standalone license. But again, a lot of these shortages are hitting all products, and Microsoft does make 5-10% on its Surface PCs that it sells itself, so it's not an insignificant part of their business. But if they're having problems, that means that new servers are not getting installed that need licenses for some of the big stuff like SQL Server, which is I think it's a $2,200 license, right? And once you write software and you maintain it, every sale is pure gravy. After you start making money, it doesn't cost a whole lot more just to print off another disk or issue another serial number. So if you're not seeing a lot of new computers being put in for servers or those licenses being sold, it continues. Now, Microsoft doesn't sell as many licenses as it used to, but it continues to make a lot of money using its own products in its Azure web services business too. So Microsoft not going to get hurt as bad as, say, somebody like Apple, which really depends on stuff, in which I read they have part shortages too. In fact, let's take a look at Apple. And a pop. You're just up against resistance. Be very interesting to see whether Apple can keep up here. If you're thinking about jumping on the bandwagon for a big fall release, this is the pattern I've been talking about for a while, and that is you come down, you get a bounce, you bounce up above the 3x3 or 9-day. It pulls back a little bit. You got no volume. The next move above that line generally is the good place to buy. So could you make a case that Apple, even with part shortages, could get back to 157? I think you could, especially when they start releasing their new stuff. But you know what? You really just need to pull back a little bit. I'm thinking maybe in the next couple of days you get back down to maybe 140, 141 underneath that trend line, and then the next close above it is generally where you want to buy. Okay. Is there a good prognosis is what I'm thinking. He tried to spell here on what to do if vaccines are not mandated. I would say that legally, certainly most employers, almost all employers, can test you. They can test you every day. So if you know which companies are deep into testing, I think that's still a long-term and valid business to be in, is COVID testing, because it doesn't matter. They can test you as much as they want to as an employer. But that one may be even a better business, a little less controversial, and certainly not invasive. So we'll see at that. When we come back, let's take a look at the biotechs. We haven't looked at them in a little while, so we'll do that when we return. Should be hearing something, but I don't on the other side. There we go. Okay, be back in a minute.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
And we're back. Dan in the Den suggested we take a look at Vivo, V-I-V-O. This is a testing company, and the chart actually looks fairly good. 2.4 million share low on June 2nd. A blowout probably on earnings back here on the, July 13th. That was 2.6 million shares. You're coming back into it, and that even has kind of a small uptrend line. But not bad today, down on 218,000 shares. I don't see any kind of signal yet that this is bottomed, but maybe in the next couple of weeks, which a lot of the stuff may resolve itself on. One of the other ones he said here is OPK. This one looks okay. You had a 19 million share low on November 9th at 302. You didn't quite get into it, but it was only 11 million shares on June 30th. And just kind of going sideways, really, here in this channel. You'd want some kind of sign that this thing is breaking out of that channel. But that's generally a fairly good consolidation. The highs on this one is 627. That's OPK. What's the high on the range on that? So you're out here at $18, 29 or $30. Just a hiccup could take you back up to 22.76. So not looking too bad. Let's look at IBB for a minute. This is just the rest of the market. It's kind of looking bad. It is kind of nice that at least today you're probably going to have light volume and everything, but not doing much out here. What's the last on this one out here? 155.53 on the IBB. Most of these markets have pulled back fairly strongly. You're back to almost, probably decent support on the IBB on June 7th. You popped up higher on 15.2 million shares. You got back into this with 3.6 million shares on October 6. You really haven't bounced or done anything out here. You may need to consolidate out like another week or so. It's like I said, even when Tim was talking to us on Thursday, he kind of thought, well, maybe we don't do much here for a week or two. A lot of these stocks continue, and like I said, the options show fairly benign range for the rest of this week. I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of these just kind of bore everybody out for the next few days, maybe through expiration. And then if we're going to see a pop in a lot of these, which they look okay, certainly are not having heavier volume, we might get that maybe late this week or next week. Okay. I had a couple of questions on this. In fact, one from one of the guys in the den, and that is installing Windows 11. I said you really probably shouldn't do it yet. and that is that why it's available. They really made it available to run on these new machines. They take a little bit of time to go through all the existing machines that are out there. Their main ploy with this is being able to say, hey, we've got a new Windows 11 laptop here, get it now. And you can upgrade when you want to for free if you've got a Windows 10 machine. But those existing machines are always coming a little bit later. There's a lot of discussions about AMD's running fairly slow, and some of the Intel processors not running at all. So as I said when we talked about trusted platform modules that you're going to need to install it, just give it a little bit of time. I don't think that there's any reason that you want to install this during October. Maybe mid-November gives them enough time to work out the biggest bugs in the upgrade. I installed it on a machine that I have, and it worked okay, back in September, but I erased the drive. I didn't find there was a lot of reasons to actually have it. Probably the biggest reason, if you're a Linux fan, is installing it sooner rather than later, is being able to run Linux programs inside a Windows shell on the same machine while you're running Windows 2. So it's kind of like a little Docker thing. But not too many end users need to run a lot of Linux stuff. You're probably some kind of sophisticated computer user if you do. So there are some reasons for me. There just aren't that many reasons for the actual customer, other than getting that trusted platform module in. As I said, I suspect you're going to find a lot of broker-dealers insisting that your machines actually have a trusted platform module, probably in the next 6 months, or starting it. Okay, other things going on. I have a question about other airlines. You want to look at some more. We can. Okay. Let's do this. Off 11 points on the S&P cash, 118 on the Dow, NASDAQ down 3. But again, bonds are closed. You generally don't get a whole lot. Okay. And, I need to go back and do this. Okay. Where are they at? Oh, here they are. Okay. Asked to go through. Question is, most of the other airlines aren't doing much. They're just going sideways. Yeah, it's, you miss 1,800 flights. That's a big ticket. And, the rest of them didn't do it. There were some reasons why they haven't, mostly because of the way that the Southwest decided to implement some of their policies. The rest, probably not that much going on. Anyway, Americans, up 80 cents actually. It's not bad. DAL actually finished filling this gap higher. That was on the 1st of October. He went up with 19.2. Got about 6 million shares here today. So that actually looks like some fairly decent support against that gap up. You've pulled back here. Let's see. Let's take a look at JetBlue, JBLU. See if we see anything. Yeah, just very light volume. Again, I think a lot of people can probably make a great deal more about today than they probably should with bonds closed. Tomorrow, my guess is we're going to probably have a little bit more action, but it's probably still going to be rather tightly wound. The option market makers really haven't blinked about a very tight trading range this week. They probably will. It'll probably be Wednesday or something. We'll be back in a minute.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Are you looking for a secured investment which pays you on a monthly basis? The Tiger First Mortgage Program may be the program for you. The best rate on a 5-year CD in the country right now, according to Bankrate.com, is paying 1% per year or $1,000 per $100,000 invested. The Tiger First Mortgage Program pays 7% per year, paid monthly, on secured, high-value, buildable properties in St. Petersburg, Florida. The investment is for 4 years, paying 7% per year or $7,000 per $100,000 invested. Your investment is secured by high-value real estate in St. Petersburg, Florida. Your investment can be anywhere from $100,000 to $500,000. Do you want to make $1,000 per year on $100,000 invested or $7,000 per year on a secured Tiger First mortgage? The Tiger First Mortgage Program may be just the program for you. The Tiger First Mortgage Program pays 7% per year, paid monthly. For more information, you can call 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN, also a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And I haven't dug into the news, but the big winner on the NASDAQ today, is that right? NASDAQ? Wynn Resorts. Nice pop here today, back right into resistance. I have to see why they did. We got two nice bounces, or excuse me, gap lower, or gaps lower out here. You're coming and filling about half of this one from September 15th. But generally those double gaps, they are not just twice as good as a regular gap. They're probably 4 times better. So you've got that double gap out here. So you got a nice gap today. If you were long this thing thinking or hoping you were going to get out, not a bad setup here. You've got some decent volume, but nothing compared to the 2 previous gaps lower. So maybe just a short squeeze and a down move. Certainly, maybe you get a little bit more out of this stuff. Well, I'd have to look through the news, but kind of interesting to see that the biggest winner on the NASDAQ, kind of a non-tech stock. What else do we have out here when we get ready? That's kind of it. Didn't talk much about the volume. As I said, it's just going to be a very light day without the bonds trading. The equity market is the tail if the bond market is the dog. Only 5.8 billion shares on the CBOE consolidated tape. Again, if you want to watch what I'm watching here, just email me at path@tfnn.com, and I'll be glad to send you a link, and you can see it. But I pretty much use the CBOE volume table for everything that I do. It breaks it out very well. Other than that, get ready, get some sleep tonight, because I imagine that we're probably going to have a little bit more active trading tomorrow when that bond market comes back. Start watching it a little bit tonight. Certainly watch the TLT the first thing you do when you get up in the morning. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. We'll be back tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.